What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. My Hero Academia Vigilantes, Episode 12. So this one with the blackout going on. Basically everyone involved in the performance trying to figure out what to do. But Koichi appears with Pop's equipment, and basically she uses her like methods to like deal with the crowd until the power returns, and she has her little like fan group like act as lights for everyone in case everyone basically needs to go to the bathroom or get out for some reason. And the crowd's fine while she does one of her songs. Meanwhile, Knuckle Duster fights Kuin, and basically, Kuin uses Trigger on herself, and then basically that affects how Kuin's able to control Tamao. So Tamao is Knuckle Duster's daughter. It's real she ran away after basically Knuckle Duster wouldn't let her become a musician, and that's how she became possessed by the bees, like the previous host. So basically, Knuckle Duster's knocked unconscious, but he jump starts his heart back up, and then knocks out Tamao. Basically frees her of Kuin, and then jump starts her heart, and basically gets the queen bee out of Tamao's eye, and it destroys all the bees. And basically Eraserheads notice the bees, tells that to Tsukachi. So that leads to the next step of the investigation. So there's this guy who has like a scar. He has a speed quirk, gets the last bee, and basically blends into the crowd. And that's it. So yeah, I thought it was a good episode. Didn't care much about the music stuff, but the visuals in it were awesome. The Knuckle Duster stuff was great. So I really like this episode. Look forward to next week's. Zatsu Tabi, That's Journey, episode 12, and full series. So in this one, Chika and Fuyune get off at the whatever bus stop they were getting off at. And they come across Riri. Basically, Fuyune, Riri make up. They apologize to each other and all that. And all that inspires Chika to write a one shot, which ends up getting published because uh another series wasn't available. So basically, the episode ends with Chika reading her one shot, which is it's a Yuri manga inspired by I guess Fuyune and Riri's friendship, which based on some of the dialogue makes some sense. Yeah, I've not read the source material, so I don't know what all happens after this. But as far as the episode, I mean, episode itself, I say was mid. Like basically, it's basically an epilogue, and it's like I don't know if like the whole one shot thing is just something that's a joke, gonna end up as a joke between Riri and Fuyune. As far as overall series, I thought it was fun. The overall series is fine. The traveling stuff's cool. You know, I would have liked with the whoever one shot, it would have been more about traveling, not be a romance series. But I did like to joke how Riri's into romantic stuff because she's a shoujo artist. I did like thought that joke was funny because that is true because it's basically what Sojo is. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a good series. Short little series, don't really get very remembered, but it's adequate. It's a decent show. So yeah, I thought it was good. If there's a season two, I'll probably check it out. The Dynasty, the revival, season one, episode 4. So in this one, Willie helps Jacob, who is Bella's husband, like I guess with like his store. So basically, Jacob like buys a bunch of stuff at thrift stores or whatever and resells them like online. So Willie tries to help him out. Then he does basically what ends up happening. So Willie has some hoarding tendencies, just like his mother. Now it's not as bad. So he buys a bunch of random crap and tries to do a pop up store to sell it. Now, which Jacob's a little annoyed about. Now, what ends up happening is that Willie doesn't have a permit to sell that, so he gets in some like trouble with the cop. The cop says, "Hey, I'm gonna go to lunch. Just get this crap out of the way while I'm gone." And that's basically what happens. Yeah, and then so they're at the warehouse. So I guess whoever's in charge of ordering these Psy cups ordered way too much. So John Luke and Bella try to figure out how to deal with them. So there's different recommendations. Someone recommends like a Saikini, basically make a bikini top out of like two like of those cups. Which I think one of the guys jokingly says that he should get his wife one. I did think that was funny. And then so bunch of other ideas. So Sai recommends doing like breaking the record for tallest stack of cups in a pyramid. So that's what they do. Ends up being a big deal. News stations come along where Sai explains where his teacup originated from his mother giving it to him in a care package when he was in Nam. Which is a good little story. Makes sense why he really values that cup. And yeah, so they end up breaking the record. Now Guinness doesn't answer them, so I guess the mayor declares it to have broken the record. And then they start selling a bunch of those cups. Then later, Sadie like I guess tells her daughters that she's pregnant. So the only ones who know are basically her husband Christian, Corey, and Sadie's kids. And Sadie and Christian tell their daughters, don't tell anyone. Then so Sadie goes to see Bella to tell her in person because Bella and Jacob have issues. Basically, they've had issues with having kids. Something they're dealing with. I hope things go well for them in that department. I genuinely hope that they they are able to like you know deal with that, and if not, you know whether it's through adoption or giving birth, whoever, you know, I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know exactly what it's like, but they obviously want to have them, so I hope they someday get to have the joy of that. Because I'm sure, based on how that family conducts itself, they probably be good at raising kids. Anyway, so say he talks to Belle in person just to be sensitive to that. Belle's like, I don't. She's like, yeah, I'd be fine, but thank you. But then like there's this whole charades thing where basically Christians say he didn't reveal that, but it's revealed that so Mary Kate and Willie learned about it already because Honey, who's one of Sadie's daughters, blabbed about it. which is that was fun. Which I called. I basically predicted when those kids is gonna blab. Someone's gonna blab about it, and I was right. Yeah. So yeah, this was a good episode. It's funny seeing Psy back, and the whole cup thing was interesting. Yeah, overall, good episode. Look forward to next week's. Rick and Morty, season 8, episode 5. So this one, Rick and Morty come across this basically a cryo ship. So Rick wants to go loot it. Morty thinks it's a bad idea, and their argument causes everyone to awake. So they hide. Rick hides in this kid's like I guess cryo chamber. He pulls like this bunkie out. Then Morty hides in this empty one, whatever this form some dude. So everyone awakes and they're misinterpreted to be like the people who so basically the parents of the kid Rick is impersonating, they thought basically something went wrong and the kid aged into an old man will die very soon. Which leads to them like trying to hold this like manhood ceremony where he's then be able to access the vault with all this like hyper fuel whatever and then all the money. So Rick decides to play along for that, but he also kind of bonds with the parents. Apparently, he acts like a better son than their actual son. Then Morty starts working as a member of like the Makeys, as they're called, whereas Rick's group where he's with, they're called the Takeys. Basically, the Takeys are the upper class, the Makeys are the poor class. Basically, make stuff work. They're the blue collars. So it's about basically comes a whole class war. Morty leads a revolution, takes everyone's chips out, and then basically people start and it's revealed that so the actual people who Rick and Morty impersonated, they stole the money and ran a while ago. So basically everyone chases them to a casino, becomes kind of like a wacky races like thing, and then basically the money's like ejected into space. And then basically a lot of them start fighting over the money. Then the kid you know, basically is grounded by his parents. And then the one guy, like the one like old guy where he had a place, he gets like ejected into space. So basically, whoever's left, everyone becomes like equal class. Everyone has chips in their heads that prevents them from insulting each other, which is funny. Then Rick and Morty leave and find another cryo ship, and that's how it ends. So yeah, I thought it was a funny episode. It definitely one of the better episodes of the season. It's more closer like old school Rick and Morty where it's dark humor. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to next week's. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.